weapon. Let's now get into some politics. Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka has called on a number of Kamba leaders to turn to economic empowerment as the secret weapon to solidify its financial and political capital. This is intended to aid the region to mount a serious 2022 presidential campaign. But as our political affairs reporter Murimi Mwangi now tells us, the meeting held yesterday exposed the cracks in Kalonzo's backyard as key leaders skipped the forum.
Kalonzo atapisha baadaye.
After 62 days brushing off the coward stag for skipping opposition chief Raila Odinga's controversial oathing ceremony, which would precede Odinga's March 9th cooperation deal with President Uhuru Kenyatta, Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka was back to his home turf for the Kamba Leaders Unity Forum, widely viewed as the launchpad to his 2022 solo presidential bid.
This is a new beginning. This country now has brought to a closure mambo ya uchaguzi. Nyinyi hapa mnaniambia kama nimekubali kubeba hiyo kengele. Hiyo kengele itapigwa kila sehemu ya Kenya hii. Nitaongea na kila mtu.
We must have in Kitui 1 million votes. Makueni 1 million votes. Makueni, Machakos 1.3, 1.5 million votes. We will give you that basket. Once we give you that basket, Mheshimiwa Kalonzo, please go.
Machakos Governor Dr. Alfred Mutua and all Jubilee-elected UKAMBANI legislators got a tongue lash for skipping the forum organized by former Senator Johnston Muthama, with key leaders rooting for economic empowerment and expanded economic cooperation between Kitui, Makueni, Machakos and the national government. Key Kalonzo strategists hoping this will give the region the political and financial capital it requires to mount an independent 2022 presidential campaign, both of which insiders say Kalonzo critically lacked in his negotiations for the 2017 NASA presidential ticket.
We should use the same resources, get our people out of poverty. We cannot continue waiting for people to come and give us money for even our campaigns. The resources we have, now we need to guard our resources jealously.
Nguvu yetu iko wapi? Kwa maana tukiwa hatuna kiongozi, tukiwa hatumungi kiongozi mkono, ambaye tunajua kabisa hakuna kiongozi mwingine Ukambani ambao tunayemtegemea, ambaye tumemlea isipokuwa Mheshimiwa Kalonzo Musyoka.
Kalonzo had recently rooted for conversion of NASA from a coalition to a political party, a campaign he now seems to have abandoned for rebranding of his Wiper party. And with coalition partners Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula already campaigning for formation of a formidable Western Kenya party to enhance the Mulembe Nation's 2022 stab at the presidency, observers are skeptical about the future of NASA as a coalition heading to the 2022 polls. With the Coma declaration re-endorsing Kalonzo to the presidential mantle for what could be the 18th time, his attention now turns to reconsolidating his lower eastern support base as the 2022 political drumbeats intensify. Murimi Mwangi, KTN News, Machakos County.
Well, that report by our political affairs reporter, Murimi Mwangi, brings forth this conversation we're just about to have on which way forward for the Kamba community as they try to sort them some of the issues they've had first. As we head into 2022, among the key leaders who are missing in this particular forum was Machakos County Governor Alfred Mutua, and I want us to now speak to him on phone, get his thoughts on OKOA, One Unity movement, rather, One Kenya movement, or OKM, if you like. That is the rebranding of Wiper and the UKAMBANI leadership for now. But let's speak to Alfred Mutua, get his thoughts on OKM and why he skipped that particular forum. A very good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you very much for making time for us here on KTN News Desk. Your initial thoughts on OKM and the entire forum?
I'm just laughing to myself because you are calling that OKM OKOA because I've seen word going around with OKOA, somebody's political future. But nonetheless, is that, UKAMBANI has been poor and struggling for many years. and due to many factors. And you know, people at times go to the wrong leaders in terms of provision of services. What our people want are provision of services. And for 30 years, you've got leaders who've been in power, and our region has still continued to be economically poor and struggling. Now, a time has come when there needs to be a wind of change. When this meeting was called, I looked at the people who are convening the meeting. First of all, it was a political meeting. The day before, I got a copy of the statement that they issued yesterday declaring Kalonzo Musyoka to be the presidential candidate. These things were written before even the leaders' meeting was being held. So this was basically a fake meeting. It was organized with the end already in mind to try and rescue somebody's fledgling career. And as Maendeleo Chapchap and as Alfred Mutua, if we are going to liberate our people and give them the power and the strength they have, we cannot do it playing the same games we played. Even the Bible says somewhere that only an idiot continue doing the same thing the same way and expects different results. That's why we're saying that we are interested in unity, but it has to be unity for development, but a meeting called by people who are neutral, like religious leaders and other professionals, but not organized by white political machinery.
So then what you're saying is you think this is bound to fail from the word go?
This is going nowhere. This is because, first of all, the premise is weak. You cannot have a meeting organized by a former senator who is a politician where the agenda has already been decided, where the release is already out even before the meeting, whereby some of us are excluded. We are not even invited to the meeting, and we are leaders in UKAMBANI, where leaders like Musila are not invited. We've got very strong leaders, ambassadors and others who are not invited to a leaders' meeting, and yet you purport to say that it is an UKAMBANI meeting. This was a wiper meeting, and even you could hear from Fresh as they kept on talking about the Wiper Party. You know, we want to have a meeting that really discusses the plight of our people. So for me, this is just another attempt at people trying to gain political credence. And our people deserve better.
You say
people deserve much better.
You say that yourself and David Musila, among others, were not invited to this particular meeting. If indeed you were invited, would you have attended?
I would have considered maybe attending, knowing what the agenda is and who is actually convening it. Because you cannot have a Wiper convened meeting. I mean, you look at the agenda. It was on a Wiper letterhead. It was a Wiper Party. I'm not in Wiper Party. You look at even the structure of the meeting, the fonts used, everything was on Wiper Party. Even the order, you know, and the declarations were all based on Wiper. The speaker after speaker after speaker was talking about the Wiper Party and how to have one Wiper Party. Now, after they all spoke about Wiper Party, Kalonzo Musyoka comes and shifts again. You know, that's very common for him. He shifts again and says, now let's get rid of Wiper. Let's have this Okwa, Kalonzo, one something movement of his. And, you know, so we could not have gone to a meeting that was already pre-organized. The end result was already decided, so that we just sit there and we are told we have endorsed that result. We have to be serious if our people are going to get tangible development and to be given respect.
Does this in any way...
The wind of change has to blow across UKAMBANI.
Yes.
And finally, is to say that we have to change the psyche of our country.
Okay.
Our leaders, African leaders, hang on. They hang on to positions even when their countries are going down the hill and have to be pushed out. We have to have a democratic culture where you hand over the baton to younger people to continue the job.
Okay, just before I let you go, does this in any way disrupt your plans for 2022? Because earlier on you had said that you indeed have plans to run for presidency in 2022. Does this upset your plans?
No, it doesn't. Actually, it makes my plans even better because it is already exposing the underbelly of the other side. They're already scared. I mean, they spent a considerable time attacking me. And why would they be attacking Mutua in their own meeting? It's because they're afraid. They're afraid that you're bringing in something new and fresh. And remember, 2022 is not just about UKAMBANI votes. They're very important, but it's also about a person who can be voted in by the rest of the country. You can win all the votes you have in UKAMBANI, the ones that Gil was counting, and not win another single vote all over the country, and you lose. So it's about getting the Kamba vote plus other votes across the country. So I'm moving. I mean, this week I'm going to Nyeri. Next week I'll be somewhere else. We have to get the votes from all over the country, plus the UKAMBANI basket, for somebody to be able to win. So you don't bank on somebody with one group or one tribe hoping that they can win. They will never win. And the president has to be elected across the board. So who is acceptable? Is Kalonzo Musyoka acceptable in Kenya as a leader who can win and be president?
Okay, thank you very much for speaking to us here on KTN News Desk. That is Machakos County Governor Alfred Mutua, just giving his views about the One Kenya movement, pretty much a rebranding of the leadership in UKAMBANI, a forum that was held yesterday. He says this is going nowhere, it's the same ideas, nothing original, and it's not going to upset his plans for running for presidency in 2022. We are getting different views from a number of leaders on this as UKAMBANI leaders. They're trying to forge their way forward. In just a bit, I will be having a conversation with South Mugirango Member of Parliament, Silvana Sosoro, to get his views as well. And we'll also be speaking to Peter Mathuke, the Secretary General of Wiper Party.